All right, this question comes from username Nate. Nate asks, this is an advice question, so I apologize for that, but I think it's interesting. If someone were to be falsely accused of murder, should they get a free murder upon release? Asking for a friend.
So you've gone to jail.
You've gone to jail.
For a murder that you didn't do.
You didn't do the murder.
Should you now be allowed to have a free murder because you've done the time for
you did the time.
Equivalent of one murder?
Zane, I went to the store.
Yeah.
I was going to buy myself grapes.
All right.
I didn't buy grapes.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I walked out the door, somebody came up and they said, you need to pay for those grapes. And I said, I didn't take the grapes.
Right.
Lay off. And they're like, you did take the grapes. And you turn around and in your back pocket is a full 3-pound bag of grapes. And they said, you need to pay for that. And they take away the grapes and they make you pay.
Okay.
Should you have those grapes?
You should be allowed to.
Do you deserve, if you paid for the grapes,
you deserve the grapes.
You deserve the grapes.
If you paid for the murder, you deserve the murder.
You deserve the murder. That's what I'm saying.
I do also like the constellation. If you're somebody who really, really want, like, if they're pushing it on you, like, no, you did the time for the murder, now you have to go do a murder. Like,
who is it gonna be, huh?
It's not even a question now. They're not like, you can. It's, no, we did this. This is our bad. Now you have to commit a murder. Otherwise,
we will all feel bad if you do not kill.
Yeah, otherwise,
please kill.
We're not going to be able to sleep at night. So find somebody. There are plenty of neighborhoods. But I like that if you really, really can't do it, as a consolation, they now give you the bag of grapes that you once couldn't have.
The nice thing is you wanted the grape. If you got accused of murder, you didn't want the murder, though. Probably not. I mean, if you really wanted the murder, you would have just done the murder, right?
You falsely get accused of murder, and you've done the time for the murder. But then they know you're not the murderer because they found the real murderer. Do you now freely get to kill that murderer?
Well, is that payment for the murder? If that's payment for the murder, then yes. But I think that you are the one who gets to swing the gavel as the court person and just say, jail. And then they go to the jail as long as you went to jail.
Here's another question. How many times is too many times to say, oh, that's my bad? Like, if you have gone, let's say there's a very, very popular, important rule in filmmaking, which is do before you ask, which, like, you can, if you get the shot and then they're like, hey, you can't film in here, you can say, oh, my bad, because you've already got the shot. Now you don't have to film in there. As opposed to if you ask, can we film here?
Is that really what they tell you?
I do it. Yeah, I do it all the time. If you go into a library and you say, hey, can I film here? And they say no. Now if you film there, well, now you're just breaking a rule that they gave you. As opposed to if it was like oh, my bad, I didn't know I couldn't film here.
Okay, so they don't tell you deserve the murder.
Yes.
But after you get out, you go and kill, and that's your argument for why you deserve it.
And then when they're like, hey, now you're going to go away for a murder, and you say, oh, my bad, I thought because I did the time for a murder that I didn't do, I got a free one. And then...
Yeah, you go up on the stand, and they're like, why did you kill? And then you say, if I went to the store, and I really wanted grapes...
You give the grape, give the grape argument.
You give the grape analogy. You're welcome. We just set you up with the perfect analogy in order to get away with your newfound murder.
The thing that I was going to ask, though, is... After you get away with that, the jury lets you free, off the hook, because they understand where you're coming from.
They get it.
Just like 5 hours later, you commit a second murder.
No.
Now they bring you back to the jury, and then they're like, why'd you do a second one? You said, to be fair, I was in jail a long time, and I don't know how long I would have gone away for having murdered the first guy. And so I thought I would balance it out by murdering a second guy, and then the time for murdering both of those people be equivalent to how much time I was in that jail.
Because, man, it was bad.
Then you could
say, it was bad.
Yeah.
I deserved to.
Yeah.
And you already let me off for one. If okay, you get accused falsely of murder.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to jail.
Yeah.
You die in jail.
Oh, okay.
You die in jail. Do your kids get to kill?
Yes. They get free murder until the person they murder is dead. Or they get...
What? Until the person they murder is dead?
Yes.
I murdered him. Are they dead?
Double check this, please. You got to keep this in mind. There was a girl in Edinburgh back in the time that do you remember the good old time when if a girl cheated on her husband, no matter how bad the husband was, they would get hanged for it. This was a thing. So she was gonna get hanged for not wanting to be with her husband. She gets hanged, and then she dies. They check her pulse. She's dead. She's in the back of the carriage. And then she wakes up in the back of the carriage. And it freaks the people out. And they're like, you were dead. So what do we do now? They were like, well, we already signed the death certificate. So
she did pay. She paid for death.
You're legally not married to that guy anymore.
Oh.
So you're allowed to just go live your own life now.
No way. Did they actually do that?
Yeah. And then she lived for like she remarried and lived another like 40 years.
Now, hold on.
This is a real thing.
Was it just like a good Samaritan in the car, or was like everybody like, stop the car, get the people out, and the husband's like, yo, that's legit, and then they just let her remarry?
This is back in old like carriage times. This isn't like they were on the way to her funeral. They hung her because she didn't want to be with her husband. There's no way the husband was like, it's so sad to see her go. You hung her because she was just like, I don't think you're a good person. That's it. That's it.
True. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's interesting.
But yeah, the reason I mentioned that is, that's why I said murder them until they're dead. Make sure they're dead. Otherwise, they're going to go off and live their own life. And that's going to be a different weird
murder
scenario.
them until they're dead.
Yeah.